Hi there, friends. So glad you could join us today as we journey through the pages of another informative weekend edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Theodore Henry. Today we'll be seeing a machine that looks into the DNA of organisms and get answers to COVID-19 and vaccine-related questions. Plus, plant some trees to protect against climate hazards. Sit back and relax for these and more interesting features right after this important message.
Behind every Jamaican medical cannabis product is a story. To create that perfect plant requires the care, patience and nurturing of that special farmer. When harvested, it is carefully transported to a processing facility where it is transformed into high-quality medical cannabis products for consumption by responsible consumers. All this and more is possible through the closed-loop system created by the Cannabis Licensing Authority to protect the integrity of Jamaica's medical cannabis industry. For more information, call the Cannabis Licensing Authority at 876-654-7582 or visit our website at cla.org.jm.
The ability to analyze microscopic organisms and identify treatment solutions for illnesses spans the range of possibilities for genome sequencing technology. Government is looking to use this to unleash the potential for health research and development in Jamaica. Learn more in this next feature.
There's a growing interest in Jamaica and the international community in genome analysis, that is, sequencing the total number of DNA in an organism. Such interest is sparked by the significant potential to find solutions to countless public health threats that emerge and re-emerge. In support of the advancement in health sciences, the government has invested in the acquisition of a genome sequencing machine for the country. It was handed over to the National Influenza Center located at the University Hospital of the West Indies in October 2021.
This investment is from the government of Jamaica to the University of the West Indies, which is under the government of Jamaica, though it has a charter. And it must be for always to deliver the priorities of the government of Jamaica. Clearly, the university has a research mandate. However, when the national priorities are identified and communicated, the government expects that the resources of the University of the West Indies, those that we have contributed directly, and those that the university, through its very substantial efforts, would have raised by themselves, should be directed to those nationally identified efforts.
This machine will assist local scientists analyze genome, which is the sum total of all deoxyribonucleic acid DNA sequence of an organism.
Comprehensive national surveillance of COVID-19 will require the adaptation and reinforcement of existing national systems where appropriate and scale up additional surveillance capacities as needed. Digital technologies for rapid reporting, contact tracing, and data management and analysis may support these capacities.
We must be strategic in our approach to building local capacity and resilience. It is a critical piece of equipment which will enable us to test for new coronavirus variants. The samples which have been previously sent to the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARPHA, will now be tested in Jamaica, dramatically increasing our response to the emergence of new variant strains. We will now have capacity to manage the endemic phase of the pandemic because there are always now going to be new strains of SARS-CoV-2 emerging. We don't have to wait 6 weeks to know if it is here. So our policies and strategies can be informed much better than before, and so we will know what actions that need to be taken much earlier.
The National Influenza Center is the only laboratory in Jamaica with the capacity to diagnose and isolate highly infectious viruses. The government has for some time been bolstering the centre's microbiology and microbial testing capacity with recent investments including a polymerase chain reaction PCR machine. These long-term investments will enable the country to respond effectively to the immediate needs as well as future threats.
New viruses and pathogens are being discovered and are emerging almost on a daily basis. And existing pathogens are becoming more resistant and they are changing over time. And so the capacity of the country has to be developed for us to be able to track and trace. So when we see new diseases emerging, when we see old diseases re-emerging, we need not just to be able to treat them, which is what the public understands, but that is 10% of the problem. 90% of the problem is to be able to almost predict what is coming because you have been studying it for a long period of time.
The newest investment, the genome sequencing machine, is a key driver to such studies, and local experts in the medical and scientific community are all enthused about the possibilities.
What we're seeing here is a new service supporting public health, a new service supporting clinical care, and a new service supporting research. UHII is now part of a global network of cutting-edge labs, and the sequencing service fits exactly into what we're trying to do. And what we're trying to do is to prepare for the next pandemic.
Local scientists will also be able to use genome sequencing to assist them in providing answers to fundamental questions about antimicrobial resistance, which is currently a big problem globally. It should also assist in finding solutions for the control of hospital infections. The machine was purchased at a cost of $40 million, financed by the Culture, Health, Arts, Science and Education Chase Fund.
The Chase Fund is proud to be the funding partner of this landmark project here in Jamaica. This piece of equipment is at the cutting edge of technology, and we at Chase, we believe in that. And it will make our country proud by the service it will provide. And on top of that, it will single out us as a country. And Jamaica will stand tall in this effort because of this effort.
To ensure the machine stays up and running, Chase is providing financing for maintenance and servicing for 3 years, as well as for training and technical support.
Honey, get ready. We have to reach the shelter before the rain get heavy.
Rush me. I have to make sure that it was locked up tight.
You have the bag with the food, clothes, medication, and the documents in our passport and birth certificate.
Yeah. How much time you gonna remind me?
You know, pack the bag with the mask and hand sanitizer, because me not able to run out.
Yeah. Alright, let me go get that.
You're gonna make the rain wet way up.
In light of COVID-19, if you have to go to a shelter this hurricane season, ensure you take along your mask and hand sanitizer and maintain a distance of at least 6 feet from others. For more information, visit the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management ODPEM and the Ministry of Health and Wellness's social media pages. A message from ODPEM and the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
If you're one of those persons with questions about additional or booster doses of the COVID-19 vaccine, keep watching. Our Chief Medical Officer gives the answers to those questions.
There are some questions that have been asked, and I'm using this opportunity to provide some of the answers with regards to the vaccine. First of all, much of what I have to say is coming from advice from the SAGE committee, and I just want to say that the SAGE, or Strategic Advisory Group of Experts on Immunization, was established by the Director General of the World Health Organization in 1999 to provide guidance on the work of WHO in respect of immunizations. SAGE is the principal advisory group to WHO for vaccines and immunizations, and it is charged with advising the WHO on overall global policies and strategies ranging from vaccines and technology research and development to delivery of immunizations and its linkages with other health interventions. So some of the questions asked. The additional dose for the immunocompromised. And here we have to make a difference, to make a distinction between an additional dose of a vaccine versus a booster. So an additional dose of a vaccine is given if we think that the persons having received the primary immunization have not mounted an adequate response. So the SAGE committee met October 4th to 7th, and coming out of that, they have recommended that moderately and severely immunocompromised persons should be offered an additional dose of WHO emergency use listing COVID-19 vaccines as part of an extended primary series, since these individuals are less likely to respond adequately to vaccination following a standard primary vaccine series and are at high risk of severe COVID-19 disease. Now, the group of persons considered immunocompromised, so far the information that we have, transplant patients, patients with active cancers, persons on chronic dialysis, persons with severe primary immunosuppressive disorders, AIDS patients with cell counts less than 200, and persons on immunosuppressants for other disorders, such as high-dose steroids and methotrexate. Now, persons to which this applies are asked to obtain a letter from their physician to verify this, and the physicians who treat these special populations are also asked to contact the health departments and to submit the names of their clients so that we can make arrangements in the appropriate time period for this third dose to be delivered. And we will provide further updates through press releases. The other issue is in terms of booster doses. And remember now what I've spoken about before is an additional dose. This now is a booster dose. So this is where persons would have developed an immune response, but over time the immune response would have waned. Now, and they are given boosters. This is common in our immunization programs that we do for our children. Many of our childhood vaccines are given boosters. Now, at this time, there is no recommendation supporting boosters that is coming from the WHO. And the emphasis is on the administration of primary doses to as many persons as possible. Now, the vaccines continue to show high levels of protection against severe illness, hospitalizations, and deaths after primary immunization, and also against the variants. And this is why there is no recommendation, and I must emphasize at this time, because we know that as time passes and more studies are done, then persons do want to ensure that boosters are given at the appropriate time. But right now, the vaccines have been shown to be holding up, and so there is no necessity at this time for the booster. The other question is in terms of the mixing of vaccines. And again, I have to say at this time, there is no recommendation for the mixing of vaccines. The recommendation from the WHO is to take the same vaccine as your second dose.
Trees are important to our health and that of the environment, particularly as it regards climate change. In support of the global effort to slow climate change, the JIS has partnered to plant some trees out in the hills of Manchester. Come with us to learn more.
Climate change is real and is evident in the changing and extreme weather conditions that are posing significant risk to lives and livelihoods. Among the actions we can take to slow climate change and reduce the risks is planting and caring for our trees. These plants help to reduce air pollution and are also part of the water cycle, assist in reducing soil erosion, storm water runoff, and the effects of flooding. So, by planting more trees, we're helping to maintain the ecological balance, a more livable planet, and protecting an important food source. And Jamaica is participating in the global actions for climate resilience through initiatives to plant trees.
This project is actually the brainchild of our Prime Minister, Most Honorable Andrew Holness. It started the 4th of October 2019. The aim of the project is to plant at least one tree for each Jamaican. And this will be done on both private and public lands. And we have been getting a lot of interest so far.
The initiative caught the interest of the Jamaica Information Service, which decided to plant some trees as part of its main corporate social outreach activities at the Mount Olivet Home for Boys in Manchester. The home was adopted by the JIS in 2009. The proposal was raised with the director at the home, Mr. Patrick Newman, and it was an easy decision for him.
The home is situated on 10 acres of land. So we saw it fit that we would partner with JIS and the Forestry Department to have some trees planted on the compound of the home.
The compound was being worked on, and we saw an area where trees could be planted, so we reached out to Forestry. They were happy to come on board.
The Forestry Department gave us 3 varieties of trees. Cassia semenia, Puya trees, Prada Barbados, and Poor Man's orchids.
The JIS engaged the boys to plant these ornamental trees along the recently constructed driveway leading from the main road to the home's newly built dormitories.
The boys were very eager to participate, and we saw the enthusiasm when we got there. So we started the process of planting, and everybody just came together, planted at least 1 to 2 trees each, and in no time we're finished with the process.
And this is to help to beautify the surrounding and to provide some shade and to just have a green look to the space at the home.
We were happy to partner with them to plant some trees on this day.
Would love to plant some more trees, especially breadfruit and ackee, because we found out that during the time when these food are in season, we have to be purchasing breadfruit and ackees. So if anybody out there that want to donate some ackees and breadfruit tree, just give us a call at the home.
The trees planted so far at the Mount Olivet home are now in bloom under the care of the boys there.
The boys are in charge of caring for the plants, watering them, and they have reached a stage now that we cannot lose them anymore. I saw one of the Prada Barbados is now being bloomed. Wonderful red flower. So they're at a stage now that we can safely say that they have passed the worst.
The Forestry Department is encouraging Jamaicans everywhere, at home, schools, in communities and corporate offices, to join in the effort and plant as many trees as possible within our local environment.
We want as many Jamaicans as possible to take part, and they can do this by, if they want less than 10 trees, they can walk into any one of our nurseries, either in Williamsfield, Monique or Mount Erie, and they can have these seedlings. For persons who want to plant more than 10, we encourage them to send an email to the Forestry Department. They can email us at fdinfo@forestry.gov.jm. The Forestry Department is the major entity that is responsible for the production of the timber and ornamental seedlings. RADA is also partnering with us in the production of the fruit seedlings.
We are in a race against time, to reverse the effects of climate change by one simple action, which has positive and enduring effects. That's right, plant a tree, leave a lasting legacy. Join the My Tree Legacy promotion by planting a tree at your alma mater and share your work with us. Submit videos and pictures of you, your family, your friends, and colleagues planting trees. Every tree counts. Plant a tree today and keep climate change away.
In difficult times such as the downturn brought about by the pandemic, a helping hand to get us back on firm footing is certainly welcomed. That help is coming from avenues such as government's CARE program. We have an update.
Greetings, my fellow Jamaicans. The government of Jamaica is almost doubling the allocation to the CARE element of the Serve Jamaica program with the additional allocation of $5 billion as announced in the first supplementary estimates. There will be several grants. There will be an automatic grant of $10,000 for all path heads of household. This is estimated to reach 130,000 Jamaicans at a cost of $1.3 billion. The CARE NIS grant. This will provide an automatic grant of $10,000 for NIS pensioners who are in receipt of an NIS pension of less than or equal to $10,000 per month. This is estimated to reach approximately 57,000 Jamaicans at a total cost of approximately $570 million. We'll introduce the CARE Social Pension Grant. This will provide an automatic grant of $10,000 for all Jamaicans 75 years and older who have qualified for a social pension. This is estimated to reach approximately 5,000 Jamaicans at a total cost of approximately $50 million. The Ministry of Finance has made allocations for disbursements for the CARE Social Pension Grant to be paid in November and the CARE Path Grant and CARE NIS grants to be paid in December. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security will disburse these grants. We'll introduce another CARE Set Cash grant. This will provide an automatic grant of $18,000 for all persons who qualified for the June 2021 Set Cash grant and who have still not re-entered the workforce as evidenced by Tax Administration Jamaica records as at September 30th, 2021. Based on the last Set Cash payout, we are making allowances for 30,000 such persons at a total cost of approximately $540 million. We'll be introducing the CARE Workers Grant. The government of Jamaica understands that working people on lower incomes are also impacted by this environment. For this reason, we'll be introducing for a first time the CARE Workers Grant of $10,000. All working people in the PAYE system who have a gross weekly salary of $15,000 per week or less, or an annual salary of $780,000 per year or less, and all self-employed persons with statutory income equivalent to $780,000 per year or less, as at the last annual filing, will be eligible. This information will have to be verified by Tax Administration Jamaica as a confirmation of eligibility. There will need to be an application for this grant as we do not have addresses or bank account information for this group of persons. Applications will therefore open at wecare.gov.jm at the beginning of December. Detailed instructions will be available on the website. In aggregate, the government of Jamaica expects up to 352,000 Jamaicans to benefit at a total cost of approximately $3.8 billion. Many vulnerable persons are not in any of the formal databases of PATH, of the National Insurance Scheme, of Tax Administration Jamaica, or the new social pension. They are in the informal economy. The government of Jamaica intends that they too will be included. As such, the central government will partner with other institutions to deliver $1 billion in care food packages over the 4-month period, December 2021 to March 2022. We expect over 200,000 care food packages to be delivered over this time period. My fellow Jamaicans, the COVID-19 pandemic has delivered an unprecedented shock all across the world. The government of Jamaica is taking tangible steps to provide additional support to vulnerable Jamaicans at this time as we all work to recover stronger.
Practice good hygiene by washing your hands frequently using soap and water. Here's how you should do it while conserving water. Turn on the tap to wet your hands, then turn off the pipe. Lather your hands and the tap with soap. Turn on the tap and wash your hands, back, front, and in between fingers. Use some of the water to wash off the tap, then turn it off. Dry your hands with disposable hand towels. If you don't have running water, use a hand rub containing 62% or more alcohol. If hand sanitizers are not available, rubbing alcohol, Dettol, white rum, or household bleach will do the trick. And if all else fails, let hand washing and the handling of potable water be a 2-person event. Each person will take turns pouring and washing hands with sitting water. Now is a good time to consider installing a tap on your containers to reduce the risk of water contamination. Faucets can be easily attached to drums, buckets, or 5-gallon water bottles. And to ensure that the outside of the containers are clean when recapping, disinfect it with hand rub containing alcohol that's 62% or more. The 5 R's of water conservation are also necessary to practice. Reduce water wastage by investing in water-saving devices. Reuse water at least twice before discarding. Replace leaking pipes, faucets, and other plumbing equipment. Recycle wastewater and use it for gardening, car washing, or cleaning of public spaces. And reclaim water through rainwater harvesting. We all must play our part to ensure there's water to combat the coronavirus and stave off prolonged drought.
We're at the end of our half-hour journey through the pages of Jamaica Magazine for today, but be sure to join us again tomorrow for another show. Until then, there's more to watch on our YouTube channel and on our website, jis.gov.jm. You can also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's both Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry, urging you to inform yourself about COVID-19 and the vaccines, wear your mask, socially distance, take the right precautions. And until next time, keep safe.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.